I'm Melisa Idris. Welcome to Consider This. This is the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. Now, as the new school term begins and parents are returning full-time to working in the office, the demand for school buses has surged, and this has led to concerns over rising fees and strained resources. So today on the show, we will be discussing the safety and accessibility of school transportation. Joining me on the show is Professor Dr. Kulanthayan Mani, who is the head of the Putra Injury Prevention and Safety Promotion Research Group at the Department of Community Health under UPM's Faculty of Medicine, as well as Amali Munif Rahmat, who is president of the Federation of School Buses Association, Malaysia. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Thank you so much for being here with me. Encik Amali, if I may start with you. The Federation of School Bus Associations is saying that school bus fees need to be increased. This is not the first time that you're saying this, so maybe you can tell us why fees need to be increased again.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us to enlighten the school bus issue. So the fee of school bus can be increased up to the operator. Not all the operator increase the fare, but the fare increase after they consider the profit and loss of the company for the last school session. Now our currency going drop very fast, so we use more than 90% spare part imported from overseas. Okay. So the parts is more higher from the previously.
Okay, so school bus fees are not standard.
Not standard.
Not standard.
Since January 1st, 2015. Government not regulated the school bus fee. 1st January 2015.
Okay.
So it's up to the market. The fare in Malaysia between 50 ringgit to 200 ringgit.
200 ringgit?
Yeah.
Per child?
Per child.
Wow.
So it depends to the service they provide. Some operator give extra service. Like there be a conductor in the bus full aircon, and only be seated only.
Oh, no
standing.
No standing.
So
okay.
That's charge quite higher.
Okay. So you said 50 to 200 around that range.
Yeah.
So the anticipated increase, how much do you expect school bus fees to go up?
We cannot determine the increasing because we are won by the MyCC, Suruhanjaya Persaingan. So
Competition Commission.
Competition Act, under Section 4 Competition Act, we cannot regulate the increasing or the fare.
I see.
So the fare is up to the operator, and the parent negotiate the price.
Okay, so let's talk about the supply and demand, right? How many students still go to school on school buses? How would you describe it?
Okay, before COVID-19, we cater almost 1 million per day. Now, there's a shortage. The student using the school bus now is around 500 to 600,000.
That is a lot less.
Yeah, because most of the M40 not using the school bus currently.
Okay, so what do they use? How do M40 send
They
their children?
They are sending their own kids by their car.
Okay, and that opens up a whole other...
After COVID-19.
That opens up other issues in terms of safety and traffic. And I'll come to you, Prof. Kulan, shortly. But I'm just quite curious to know, why hasn't, now that we are, post-pandemic now, why hasn't the supply and demand recovered back to that pre-pandemic number of 1 million? Why hasn't it reached back the same levels?
Not reached back at the same level, but now I have a lot requests from the parents, from the nationwide, from the Facebook, from the WhatsApp. because my number on the Facebook. So they are asking the contact number for the operator at their area. But now we have a shorten for driver and buses. Almost the bus operate by the owner. That means before COVID, maybe the owner has 4 buses. Now maybe 2 buses only operated. So there's become a shortage of the buses.
Because during the pandemic, all the school bus operators, they downsized?
No, they are downsized because the parent don't want to pay the fare of the bus
because
during
children were not going to school. Right.
Children not going to school, but we have a problem also with DBKL that they are contract for bus percuma DBKL. That DBKL pun they are not paying during the pandemic. That's the problem.
Right.
So because of they have to find another job, and the buses maybe they have to sell a few for cover for their needs.
Okay, is that hard because there's just not enough buses, not enough drivers, but parents are calling you saying, how can I send my children to school?
Yeah, you can monitor my Facebook. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
So there's a request from nationwide, from the Kulanthayan, from Johor, from KL, from Sabah. So we have a problem because now because last February the school day only 5 days, so the parent don't want to pay. So at that time we consider to continue the service for their pay for February. They will continue the service for them. If they do not pay for the February, maybe they become a second list, waiting list.
Oh, wow. So parents are quite held hostage to the fact that they need to pay even if their child is not using the service?
But these parents are not B40. These parents that very stingy.
Okay. I have to ask you, so what options are there for parents? So kalau if parents don't have the ability to send their children to school themselves, they need school buses, right?
Yeah.
And the fees are going up and the places are limited.
Yeah.
And if they don't pay, they lose their spot
Yeah.
to become a wait list. So what options are there for parents?
Maybe they are using Grab.
Oh, to send their children to
Yeah.
Grab, which is far more expensive,
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure.
more expensive. Because the bus fare is a monthly fare.
Right.
It's not daily fare. So it's the same as you rent a hotel. It's daily charge. It's more higher than is a house rental.
Okay. Well, surely we can come to a more innovative solution of this. And I want to bring Prof. Kulan in. Do you see some gaps here in terms of school transportation? So the ability to transport children to and from schools. What are we missing? Are there other ways to think about it, new and innovative ways to think about the way we are transporting children instead of the same old, same old? What do you say? Where would you say are the gaps in the way we're thinking?
Okay, I think maybe my response will be along the line of safety line. So if you look at safety line, if we can reduce the movement, as much as we can reduce the movement of the child, then he's much more safer.
Okay.
So that's the key point. Okay. So if we look at, say, land use planning, what I would propose is for the future land use planning, the moment you know that you're going to build a new township where you have residential area here, so close to the residential area should be the school, so that eventually the plan we're looking at is children will be walking from their homes to the school. So without using vehicles, then in terms of safety level, they are much more safer.
Is walking to school considered safer than being driven in a car or a bus to school?
It depends on the location. If you are on a residential area where not on the main roads, and you have pedestrian walkway, so that we segregate physically the road and the pedestrian walkway, then that route is the most safest for the child. But if you are going to the main roads, then of course pedestrian walking may not be as safer.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that for the new land use planning, okay, if you're going to build housing areas, then make sure the schools are closer to that. Not the school shouldn't be next to the main road. That should be avoided.
Okay.
Schools
But
should
right now
never
we
be.
see quite a lot of schools near the main roads.
Yeah,
right?
maybe these schools were not built at that time. The main roads may not be there. Right, the schools would have been built quite some time back, and then due to development, the roads come closer to the school. So then, as long as the road is very close to the school, you are exposed to risk.
Okay. Can we talk about that risk? So the schools that are close to the roads right now expose children to traffic risk, expose parents. I'm thinking about the number of parents that drop off and pick up kids in schools that are close to roads. If Encik Amali's numbers are correct, I mean, less like you've got like 50,000 parents now looking to pick up their kids, right? That's a lot of cars, a lot of vehicles, particularly congested in front of school zones. How do we think about the risk to the child when they are transported on and off buses or trying to walk back and forth from school?
Right. So if you look now, no matter whether the kids they travel by bus or by car or by motorcycle, eventually all these children are going to be a pedestrian at the gate of the school.
Oh, yes.
As you enter the school gate and you're going to exit the school gate, everyone will turn into pedestrian. Okay. So now the peak area where the highest number of vehicle will be exactly outside the school area. So even though, say for example, if I bring my son or if I bring my child on a motorbike and I drop him off near the school area, he's going to walk. Of course, might be a shorter distance, but that is the zone where you have huge number of vehicles. So even though a small place, but huge number of vehicles, okay, so the interaction there will increase risk for the child. So to reduce that risk is to make sure that the child don't cross the road. That's the biggest risk. For any pedestrian, crossing the road is the biggest risk. Because as I cross the road, the vehicles are moving. So that's the interaction. But if I drop them off on the side of the school, which doesn't require him to cross the road, then I reduce or minimize the risk. That's why I will always prefer that the school bus to drop off in the area where closest to the school, which doesn't require to cross the road. So one is they make sure that they drop them off,
Right.
but at the same time, the school facility also has to be provided in order to attract them to drop off them. So the drop off point and the pickup point should be adjacent to the school area without requiring any crossing of roads.
Is that possible? Because you think of how many school buses are trying to drop off how many kids at the same time, because you want to make sure before school starts, right? Can you drop off children right in front of the gate?
Actually, some of the school has a bus parking area,
Okay.
but most of them there's no that kind of area. So we have to challenge with the parents, queue up with the parent, and then the main problem a few years ago we had a problem because the school placed the bus opposite the road.
Oh, so they have to cross.
Because the parent complained they should be in the front of the school. So there's
so buses
the
have
buses
to go.
to. That's the big argument with us. And then, like Prof say, we have some problem because their house near with the school, but the area of their house is different district.
So they cannot go to that school.
They cannot go to that school. So that's why the bus fare become 200, because they have to go 30 kilometers.
So far.
Yeah,
Is that common that they have to go to school
because
so far away?
we have problem such as Sungai Buloh, Merbau Sempak. Yes. They are near to the different district.
Okay.
But the school is very near, quite just 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. But they have to go to 15 to 30 kilometer.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but let's come back and talk about the issue of illegal school bans. It's a big one. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris. We're talking tonight to Professor Dr. Kulanthayan Mani, who is with the Putra Injury Prevention and Safety Promotion Research Group at UPM, as well as the President of the Federation of School Bus Associations Malaysia, Amali Munif Rahmat. We're talking about school transportation, the accessibility and the safety, ensuring the accessibility and the safety for all our children. And I want to come to the issue of illegal school van operators, Encik Amali. I feel like that is a growing problem. How would you describe this issue?
This issue has been a long years ago.
Okay.
Maybe I rise up since year 2000. You can follow the YouTube.
Okay.
There's a problem because the parent choose the cheapest and the fastest transportation. Even it's not legal, but it's become common to all the school. We have example. We have a 5 school bus, legal school bus in the school at the school. There's a 5 times illegal operator from the school bus that legal.
What does illegal operator mean? Means they don't have license. They
are not registered with the government as a school bus.
Okay.
Every school bus has a signage bus sekolah, and the color is amber. And there's in the front of the windscreen must be displayed Puspakom and the Rotek Perdagangan. If they are Rotek Persendirian, that means it's illegal. Even their signage same all as a school bus, but there's no Puspakom display at the windscreen, that's illegal.
So what does that mean in terms of risk to the children?
Risk, there's the insurance not cover for the student, because school bus insurance must be bought by head of the numbers of students that allow in the bus. So if there any accident, for us a few years before COVID, there's one school bus, signage full school bus, but it's a private vehicle. There's a problem, the handbrake loose and the bus dropped into the pond. And one student, kindergarten, died at that. Very sad. So the insurance not cover for that.
Why are they allowed to operate for so many years?
Yeah, because if the enforcement starting at the school, the student not going to the school because there are more than school bus. That's the problem. But we have a suggestion with the authority that we have to legalize this illegal bus. But the problem is these illegal buses, example van, they still have a hire purchase loan individually, and we help them to get a permit, and then as the permit as same as a IC name. Sorry. But the reference number is a company. So the bank don't want to convert the loan from the hire purchase private to the hire purchase company. So that's the problem, to legalize.
Is there anything government can do to help?
Yeah, government can provide a loan for this kind of people,
Okay.
because we have suggestion to the MOF for the last budget, but not respond good for us. We suggest to the government to give soft loan to the school bus that more than 25 years to replace the bus. We can bring the good bus, new buses for the student, and at the same package, there's to cater the problem that hire purchase problem.
So there are ways to help legalize these illegal school vans, to help school bus operators refresh their fleet.
For example, for the budget 2013 and 14, there's a fund, a few million, I don't remember, a few million, to replace the 25 years buses. But the allocation just 150,000 and new buses only. And rebate 10,000 given to the application that they approve the package. But if the student of the kampung or Felda, they cannot, operator cannot buy the new buses, because the cheapest new buses is China brand, almost 600,000.
So big capital, right? Big
If European or continental model, nearly 1 million per buses.
Okay.
So the package cannot be given to the rural area.
Rural areas, understood. Prof. Kulan, if you could, make recommendations, or what would you like school administrators, policymakers, transportation authorities to think about when we want to ensure the safety of the child during the journey to and from school? You talked about the urban planning aspect of it, where to place or where to build new schools. But for the current landscape that we have now, what would you like them to consider?
Yeah, I mean, maybe for the school authorities, if you can provide the place for pick-up and drop-off point,
Right.
a safe pick-up and drop-off point.
So it's not congested.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then give priority for public transport. That means for buses to drop there.
Give priority to the
Yeah.
buses.
Some-
Why prioritize buses over private
Because
vehicles?
like one bus, you'll be carrying about 40 kids. Compared to if I want to replace with the cars, then I have to
40
provide
car.
40 cars over there. Correct. So try to provide, give priority for public transports, okay, so that the pick-up and drop-off point can be used by more children. So I think that's the main priority. Second is for the parent and teacher associations. Okay, right. You are the main consumer of the roads in those school areas.
Yeah.
Can all of you reduce the speed outside the school zones? Okay, reduce your speeds outside the school zones in order to make sure that every child who comes out from any vehicle, whether it's bus or from your own vehicle or from any other vehicle, for the short distance they're going to walk and enter the school gate, they'll be safe.
What is the current speed limit outside of schools now?
The advisory speed limit is 30 km per hour.
Advisory.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not gazetted.
It's not mandated speed limit.
No.
So you can technically go up to
You can go more than that.
8. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
So what we request is kindly reduce below 30 km per hour. Okay. So then we can make sure all our children in that school zones will be safe. That's one. To the government, besides the land use planning, okay, I'm quite attracted with the Ministry of Transport, where they are promoting public transport very well by the discount travel cards which they've introduced for the trains and everything. Maybe they can consider for the B40 communities to provide the complimentary bus services for the school bus services. Okay, so that will reduce the cost and that will attract more people to use school buses, because if you look at Malaysian statistics, okay, out of close to 600,000 crash last year.
Oh wow.
Okay, 600,000 crash last year. We lost 6,453 people. The least contributor in terms of road fatalities is buses. Is below 1%. So generally, buses, or we consider as public transport, is much, much more safer compared to any other private vehicles. So keeping that in mind, and want to bring the culture of children using buses, start from school bus, and then eventually later on to the normal buses.
I didn't think about cultivating a culture of using public transport early. In the last couple minutes that we have left, Encik Amali, I want to ask you, what would you like policymakers to consider in terms of the situation of the school bus operators right now?
Yeah, I'm suggesting the government should provide a free school bus as DBKL provide now for the PPR and PPA. Now they are giving a free school bus. Now also at the Kuching, Bandaraya Kuching and Bandaraya Miri. And all the armed forces quarters, they got free school bus for their own kids.
Okay.
So because the kid is our asset, our future leader, so we must provide the better service for them. So I'm suggesting that because as an example for the foreign as American, New Zealand and Australia, school buses is paid by government.
Oh.
Yeah, paid by the government. So for the example, like Professor Safety at the school area, for the international school, ISKL for the example, the parent cannot enter the pickup point before the bus outside from the pickup point.
So priority to the buses first. Okay.
That's priority for the buses.
That is the international practice.
Yeah, international practice. Right. So there's for the international school, they have got a conductor, they have CCTV on the bus, and GPS for the parent to monitor where's the buses now.
Okay, so using technology. I want to thank you both. We've run out of time on the show, but thank you both for being on the show and sharing your insights during this particularly interesting and important topic. I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you on this episode of Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris, signing off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.